Howdy friends, this is Mike. I'm an adventurer and a dad, and today I got something a little different. I have some new products here that I've been sent to review from Stoke Voltaics. It's electric camp cooking cookware, except for this is different. But this is basically a little boiling kettle. I think that's exactly what it says, kettle pot. And then this is a cooking system for cooking like skillet stuff and pot stuff. And I'm gonna wanna do a quick unboxing, and then I wanna talk about how these things work and who I think they're for. All right, let's start with the big boy, this Stoke Voltaics cooking system. So we've got a little manual, some stickers, power cord here. Oh, this is the handle. Here's the lid. This is like really lightweight. It's probably hard anodized aluminum, like a lot of other camp cooking stuff. Induction base here so that you can cook with it. Then we've got more packaging. As you can see, it's got a base on it. This is where the mechanism that heats up that you cook with. But even the pot is nice and thick. It's not a flimsy little pot. So that's cool. And then we've got, okay, this is the other base. So it's got a boiling pot, and then it's also got this skillet pot. And each of these things has its own cooking base. And each of these things is very heavy duty. So here it is in a little carrying case. This is how you would store it. It's nice and fairly compact. There's a little bit of padding. All right, so then you would take it out, lid, and then you got your cord, handle and your cord. And then you've got your frying pan and your boiling pot and the base. So you would set that there. You would set that there. And this can go on it like that, right? And you can pick it up. And then the lid goes on it like that. And if you want to use the other base, then you would put that there and move your frying pan, your handle over. There's a button right here that you turn it on and off, twisty and turny. Okay, now we're gonna look at the kettle pot, the Joule kettle pot. Very simple. That looks like that's all there is. Here's this, don't know what that is. Let's see if there's something in the bottom here. Nope, nothing in the bottom. All right, so it's all self-contained. So as you can see, it's just a nice little kettle. I mean, I don't have one with me, but this is very comparable to a jet boil. I don't know much about the product, but I would assume that they had to been looking at the jet boil when they designed this. Okay, so it's got the same handle that's on a jet boil, the same neoprene that's on a jet boil. It weighs about the same as a jet boil would weigh with a can of fuel in it, probably. It's got a plastic lid. And here's our directions. Here's our power cord, same power cord as the other one. And it's got a French press thing already in it, which is nice if you like French press coffee. I'm not a huge fan, but so then this has got a little mark, max safe fill mark, just like the jet boil would have. And it says 473 milliliters, 16 ounces. So it's pretty comparable. I, of course, always fill my jet boil up as high as it'll go and deal with the... So looks like you plug it in here, plug it into power, and you're done. Good to go. When you're done, everything nests back into here, and you just stow it away like you would as normal. I'll probably just leave this at home. I don't like French press coffee. So there you go. Now we're gonna look at this. This says it's a Joule smart mug. My knife is at home on the counter, so we use my keys. for this. So we've got a mug, we've got a little base, we've got instruction manual. This looks like a straw, a little glass straw that probably goes right down into here. Yep. And then our power cord. This is a USB-C device. So this plugs into the base here and then into power there. I wonder, it says 15 volts, 2.5 amps, USB-C. So I wonder if you could use like a USB-C power delivery source to power this. Probably. We'll find out. So that would go right there. You just set it on there, and I assume that heats your coffee. It's not obvious how big it is. 14 ounce. It says 14 ounce cup. So there you go. You can drink it from the glass straw, which I'll probably break before I leave here today. And looks nice if you need super hot coffee all the time. So who are they for? I think they're for van lifers. People who have a van or a truck camper or RV, like a four-wheel camper. My friend Harry has a four-wheel camper, and he upgraded the battery that was in it from a single 100 amp hour battery to a 200 amp hour lithium battery. So he's got enough power to do some cooking with this. He has built-in appliances in the camper, but if you got something like that where you got the power option but you didn't get the cooking, then you could have these. It would take up less space and give you more options. A lot of times in vans that people are getting these days, particularly like our van, they're going all electric. And at first it didn't make that much sense to me, but there must be a lot of regulation behind putting fuel inside an enclosed vehicle. So if you have something like a four-wheel camper, the fuel bottlers are outside the van. There's a door on the outside, it's sealed off, you can't get into it from the van. So if there's a fuel leak, that fuel won't get into the camper at all. And if you have a camper, it's the same sort of deal. They put the fuel underneath. If you had a propane tank in a van, I mean, you'd have to build it into a little compartment. So it would take up space in your living space of your camper RV. And then you would have to have a special cooktop that didn't produce a bunch of carbon monoxide so that you could cook indoors. So if you're cooking indoors, electric is pretty good. It's a pretty good way to go. Our van has a 5 kilowatt system from EcoFlow, so we've just committed to going all electric, except for heating. So if you have an electric vehicle, a lot of times electric vehicles have high output inverters, 1600 watts or more. I know my friend Sean has a electric F-150 that puts out way more power than you need to cook with any of this stuff. So something like that, if you're camping out of it, you can just run all your stuff out of the electric vehicle. If you're just going to places where you're going to have access to power, like RV resorts or something like that, then I suppose it makes sense to use this. You can just plug it into the source that's already there. If you have an inverter, like this vehicle has an inverter in it, when the vehicle is parked and the truck is on, it'll make 400 watts, and that's not enough to run any of this stuff. I can run this off of my battery system here. This puts out 500 watts from the inverter, but I probably couldn't cook with this in it. Our van, however, will put out as many watts as we want to put out, certainly more than any of these things take. Who it's not for. So if you're camping in a truck like this, if you have something like the trailer that we have, I don't think that this is for you, because you're going to have to run a big battery bank with a big inverter. So if you have a battery pack like this, there's plenty of battery packs like this that do have a 1500 or 2000 watt inverter. But if it's small enough for you to be able to easily transport it in your car and then also take it from your car to the camp table where you're going to cook, then it's not going to have enough power to cook for more than one day. If you're only going to go out for one day or an afternoon or a picnic, then yeah, it might make sense to get this. But you're going to have to buy this stuff, which costs as much as any high-end gas stove, plus this, which these things cost $2,000. If you don't already have the investment in the electricity power source, then I don't know that it makes sense for you. If you have a trailer or an RV or a van or four-wheel campers, why would you use this instead of a residential system like what we use? Compactness. This takes up a lot less space. Both of them take up a lot less space than a comparable system would take up if you had the induction cooktop and separate pots, and then also a separate kettle. Of course, you wouldn't have to have the kettle. You could boil water with the induction cooktop. When you're just boiling water to make coffee in the morning, it's really nice to just use the kettle and move on with your day. So we're gonna compare in a future video, I'll compare this stuff to what's in the van and see what's better. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Let me know what you think of all this stuff in the comments. If any of my brief impressions you find interesting or ridiculous, then I would definitely want to hear about it. And if you want to see how these things work in the future as we go into this spring camping season 2025, then stay tuned. Be sure to like and subscribe and you'll see it here. Thanks for watching and happy trails.